Okay, so welcome to what? Where am I? What day is it? Wednesday's Talk to the Hand. Oh yeah, there it is. Look on the thing. Talk to the Hand. Just in case I can't remember. Now I'll be honest. Hand on heart, I haven't actually put this live on the community because I'm logged in with the wrong account. But let me just see if I can fix that. If I suddenly disappear, you will know what's happened. Okay, I think I can do that with this account at the moment. Yay, I'm all right. Am I still here? Can you still hear me? Ooh.
Yes, yes,
Ah,
I can. Your lovely voice.
oh, that was scary. Don't do that to me. Yes, because I forgot to go into the community. Normally, I go into the Google Plus community and say to people, "Oh, this session is live now," and I forgot, and I've already started it. But never mind. Let's have a look. Where is it? Today's back to basics. No, talk to the hand. Yay, there it is. Pin. All I do is I pin it to the community, and then people can't tell me they didn't know. So we'll see. Anyway, we're going to hopefully this week finish the video on the brain and gamers. Okay, your gamer's brain. But I did set you a challenge last week, Poetry. Did you play a game in the week?
Yeah, I tried, but it was about car driving, and it asked me to move somehow.
I'm so sorry. I shouldn't laugh. That was very rude of me. Please carry on. What did it tell you to do?
I was supposed to buy some essence, and sorry, how to do it?
Essence. That sounds like something with wizards and witches.
No, no, no.
Petrol?
Petrol. Sorry. Yes, yes. It's from French. Yeah, petrol. Yeah. And
Gas
so
in American
I
English,
didn't.
by the way, just in case you need to
Yeah.
know. I know you're like, ugh, ugh, but you might need it one day. Gas in American, but petrol in British English. Okay, so that's quite simple task. What was the problem?
Yeah, but I didn't. I didn't manage to buy it.
Oh, oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh. Okay, so I guess you haven't got your gamer's brain on. Now I've put the
No.
link to the video in chat. I hope you can. Oh yeah, you can both see chat. You've both written there, so that's good. Oh my goodness, that is just too funny. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't laugh.
No, no. I find it funny too because I was really annoyed. I really wanted to start, and I couldn't. And I don't know. Perhaps you should have an account and to earn points. I don't know how it works,
Generally, with these
but
online
I have clicked
games, they
on.
do require you to have an account. Yes, you can normally do
Uh-huh.
that through Facebook, though. So you've got a Facebook account. There's lots of games on Facebook.
Ah, so I will try on Facebook. I
Yeah,
see.
yeah. Go to Facebook, and then
But
all you
uh-huh.
have to do. Most of them are free. What they'll generally try to do is they'll give you levels for free, and then eventually they'll sort of say, "Oh, but wouldn't you like this nice shiny thing?" But I'm just trying to see if there's anything that looks good fun. Zootopia Crime Files, a forensic hidden object adventure. But you just need to open up your games room in Facebook, okay? So it's called
Hmm.
Games Room. And there are hundreds and thousands. Just don't get sucked into paying money out, okay? Play it when it starts asking for money and you can't play anymore without money. That's the time to leave because these games, it's fine. I don't mind. Again, it's like we were talking about earlier when before I was streaming about Udemy and Coursera and all the other online courses. To me, games should be a little bit like that, which is why I like Vikings. In Vikings, of course, you can spend money. They're not stupid. But you don't
I
have
guess
to
not.
in order to play the game. Um, But some games I've noticed that you just come to a full stop, and then to go any further you have to start paying money. I just leave then. I just go, okay, bye. Um, Even if I could afford it, I won't. Unless they allow people to carry on playing for free. It's slower maybe. Yeah, you won't make as much fast progress, but you can still carry on playing because it's about the game, guys. It shouldn't be about the money. And Facebook is fun, but yeah, it's free to use. So you should understand that not everybody's on there to use money. Anyway, I've given you the link to the video, but I can't see any of you on it yet. Have you used it?
No, I was listening to you.
Multitasking. But I'm glad you were concentrating.
I can tell you something funny about the games on Facebook and about me. I have a friend, and I think she's from Second Life from Versailles. And once she invited me to play a game. It was Alice in Wonderland, but only about cards. And I didn't want to disappoint her, so I tried hard. But sometimes I did succeed to achieve some point. But the funny thing is that I never got the rules.
Okay. Oh, did you read the rules? Or you just didn't understand
No,
the
no,
rules?
I haven't. I'm just clicking. Oh, that play me, play with me. You see these messages, so.
Okay, fair enough. Well, that's life.
I have no idea what it was exactly, and I couldn't explain it to anyone. But then I quite soon I came to the conclusion that it was a waste of time, and all in all, she wouldn't notice if I disappeared, and I disappeared quietly.
Okay, fair enough. That is the case with many games, but I tend not to play games on Facebook, but I have to say I have got a Facebook Vikings account because it allows me to play on my phone, which is much easier to do than on the PC. But now it means I have actually got more than one account because you can't link the game from your PC onto Facebook once you've started it. And I don't want to give it up because I'm quite fond of the character now. So I've now got 2 Vikings to play with. I get them muddled up. I send the wrong things to the wrong Viking. It's quite funny. But I guess it's good for my multitasking part of my brain. Okay, I can see you in the room. Let me start pasting up the text because I know you get it in Polish poetry. That's so funny. These clever computers. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, if everybody's ready, I'll start playing.
Better. Whether you want to play that action game or not, right? That's a point of rehabilitation or education. Most of the kids don't go to school saying, great, 2 hours of math. So that's really the crux of the research. And to do that, we need to go one more step. The one more step is to do training studies. So let me illustrate that step with a task which is called mental rotation. Mental rotation is a task where I'm going to ask you, and again you're going to do the task, to look at this shape, study it. It's a target shape. And I'm going to present you 4 different shapes. One of these 4 different shapes is actually a rotated version of this shape. I want you to tell me which one. The first one, second one, third one, or fourth one? Okay, I'll help you. Fourth one. One more. Get those brains working, come on. That's our target shape. Third, good. This is hard, right? Like the reason I asked you to do that is because you really feel your brain cringing, right? It doesn't really feel like playing a mindless action video games. Well,
So, how did you do? Did you manage it?
I rather guessed.
You guessed. Okay, did you guess right?
Yeah, I think so.
Well,
It was as a
it was correct. Okay, so your guess was correct. Well, maybe your brain was working and you didn't even know it. What about you, Shiny?
I wasn't even thinking.
No. Okay. I didn't even get to the third one when she said it's the third one. I wasn't even there yet. I was still trying to work out the first two. My spatial recognition, though, is terrible, I have to say. So I'm not good at that. I can work it out, though. My logic is good, but the speed at which I do it is a bit slow.
I have problems with this ramp exercises and the changing systems of coordinates. You know, if there are ramp where is cosine and sine, so I wouldn't say my mind is fine.
Well, let's see how far they take it, because that's kind of interesting. Oh, hang on, let me just put a line in so that you can see where it begins and where it ends. Okay. Okay. Let's carry on.
What we do in these training studies is people come to the lab, they do tasks like this one. We then force them to play 10 hours of action games. They don't play 10 hours of action game in a row. They do distributed practice, so little shots of 40 minutes, several days over a period of 2 weeks. Then once they're done with their training, they come back a few days later and they're tested again on a similar type of mental rotation task. So this is work from a colleague in Toronto. What they showed is that initially, subjects perform where they're expected to perform given their age. After 2 weeks of training on action video games, they actually perform better. And the improvement is still there 5 months after having done the training. That's really, really important. Why? Because I told you, we want to use these games for education or for rehabilitation. We need to have effects that are going to be long-lasting.
Okay, so I don't know how true. Well, I presume it's absolutely true, but I'm beginning to think, because as I say, I am slow. I understand the process. I understand what I'm looking for in these shapes, but it takes me time to work it out. I'm thinking maybe I need to do more action gaming, more shoot 'em ups, maybe a bit of car driving, Eleanor. Now, I just let me unmute you, Eleanor.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Sorry, I have forgotten. I
It
was
was all right. No,
copying.
I muted. No, I muted you because the voice was coming through on your speakers, so I was getting like double, a slight echo of her voice because it was coming through on your speakers. So I muted you. Don't worry. So what were you saying?
I was sorry. I was copying the text, and then I forgot to mute my mic. So sorry.
Oh, there's no
Oh,
need to copy the text. You
yeah.
go to the TEDx site. They've got this all there. The whole
I
transcript
see.
is there. Don't worry about that.
Oh,
If
I
you
have
just
already copied it.
Oh
So
no, we should have asked, and I've got a copy of it. I can just send it to you, you silly thing. I can actually send you, I'm sure I can send you a copy of it here even, but I'm not quite sure how. But I could certainly send it you on the forum. That's not an issue because it's not copyright. It is Creative Commons.
I
And
see.
yeah,
That's wonderful.
I love TEDx. I really do.
No Coursera policy. I like it.
Well, TED Talks have always had that policy that you can use. That's how we can have the recording on our sessions, and I don't have to worry about muting, unmuting, muting, unmuting. Whereas 5 seconds of Toast, the song Toast, 5 seconds got my video blocked. Some people are just, well, they're so greedy. But there you go, that's life. It's, yeah, he wrote Toast, fair enough. It's his toast. His little bit of toast. Let's see if this one gets blocked because of it. Anyway. Yeah, that's life. So yeah, this
But it's
action games. and then over short periods, by the looks of it, not the sort of thing a gamer would do, by the way. Gamers don't even take toilet breaks. They use bottles. Just in case. But, action games and using them it's like brain training, isn't it? Yeah, well, some of them make a lot of money, so who's the crazy one? We'll look at a little bit about brain training next week in the Let's Talk About It session.
It, it was important to achieve lasting effects, if I have understood it correctly.
Yeah, because it's. I mean, every morning you wake up, you make a change to your brain, and every time you learn a new word, something in your brain changes. But what they've done here, by the looks of it, is made a significant alteration to people's brains. Just after 2 weeks. And that's a long, and that change lasted 5 months. That's pretty incredible, I think. I really do. In a kind of scary way as well. Okay, Shiny. TMI. I think there are things like adult nappies. So, yeah. But let's not go there. Let's not go there. I know for a fact that people do this, but then so do joggers, by the way. So do joggers. Oh, you just watch what you eat before a game, before a long they're gaming in tournaments, remember? And sometimes the prize money for those tournaments can be millions. Okay, so yeah, they're going to do a lot to make sure they win. Joggers do it too. Just look it up online. Okay, it's the obsession of winning can drive you to these extremes, which you don't really want to think about too much. Anyway, let's carry on with our gamers video and let's not think about that.
Yeah,
I haven't had my lunch yet, guys. Sorry,
I have called a mathematician. He's dead, but he had an exceptional talent for imagining multiple shapes. Really amazing. And in this respect, for spatial geometry.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at artists,
I have
what's his
sent
name?
you.
Escher, the artist. He was able to really play with it. His mind must have been amazing to be able to come up with these never-ending staircases and things that really play with our perception. And also the guy who invented Tetris. I don't know if you've ever played Tetris. And that's all about being able to quickly maybe try. Have you ever played Tetris, Eleanor?
No, I haven't. I
think you might like that one.
Yeah, I will try.
Yeah, it's all about being able to fit the shapes in the correct way. Shiny, have you ever played Tetris? Okay, no. That little question mark tells me no. It's just a game, and it's a very simple concept, but if the guy had patented it, he'd probably been a multimillionaire. But he thought it was more important for people to have fun with it. And it's addictive, I warn you. But it is the sort of game you can play on your phone. I know, not you, Eleanor, but on a tablet maybe. And you just have to rotate the shapes so that they'll fit and then clear the rows. And you have to get the rows cleared, because if the rows hit the top of the screen, you've lost the game. That's the concept in a bubble, in a very small amount. But it's really addictive, and you can waste hours playing it. But it's the sort of game I play at the dentist's or the doctor's waiting room or the hospital when I'm waiting for physio. It's because it's so quick and easy to do, and it doesn't matter if you just stop the game when your name is called. So it's a really good time waster. Okay. Oh, it's a fascinating story. Maybe we should. I'll see if I can find. I'll write it You know what my memory's like? I'll write it down and I'll see if I can find something about it, because the guy who invented it was interesting. He was a very, very clever man, and as I say, he could have made his fortune with it. He's like the guy who invented the spreadsheet. He thought it was more important that people had access to it than that he was rich. I love people like that. I wish I was clever enough to gift that to the world, but I'm afraid I'm stuck with the brain I've got. Or maybe I can train it by doing some shoot-'em-ups. World of War? What? No, it's not World of War, is it? No, that's World of Warcraft. No, what's the gaming one? Maybe Prince of Persia. I'll play Prince of Persia. I think we've got that one. Okay, I'll let you know how I get on. So next, let's carry on.
Now, at this point, a number of you are probably wondering, well, what are you waiting for putting on the market a game that would be good for the attention of my grandmother and that she would actually enjoy, or a game that would be great to rehabilitate the vision of my grandson who has amblyopia, for example? Well, we're working on it, but here is a challenge. There are brain scientists like me that are beginning to understand what are the good ingredients in games to promote positive effects. That's what I'm going to call the broccoli side of the equation. There is an entertainment software industry which is extremely deft at coming up with appealing products that you can't resist. That's the chocolate side of the equation.
Okay, so I love this sort of metaphor she's using to describe the effects of gaming. The broccoli side and the chocolate side. I've actually been looking at Vikings with that in my mind. What's the broccoli side, what's the chocolate side? And I have to say, I'm almost tempted to contact her and say, look at this game, because they've got a balance of both. There's the chocolate side, which is the play, the gameplay, but the broccoli side is you can't just play the game without thinking. You have to strategize. But I don't know, maybe it wouldn't be a fast enough game for her tests. But certainly it's the one game I've found where people will meet online and talk about statistics and rates and percentages and mathematical workings out of what the best different troop qualities are. It's really quite amazing. But maybe that's the broccoli side of Vikings, and the chocolate side is you get to kill, kill, kill. Okay. Vikings, not zombies. Zombies are scary. Okay. But yes, the oh, sorry, yeah. Carry on.
We tried to kill them in Second Reich, but unfortunately I
the
died.
zombie game, yeah. That was a little bit of an, I would say, the software industry side of the equation. To me, the software industry is a little bit like McDonald's. They want,
of course.
Yeah, they kind of, there is an entertainment education software industry, but quite often, what they come up with is pretty turgid and not very exciting. I think people like her should go to people like Plarium and say, can we not have this, but with a little bit more of the broccoli in it? Maybe. I don't know. What do you think, Shiny? Shiny's not thinking today. What couldn't you get? Take the mic. That's what we're here for.
She used the example, the side of broccoli and chocolate.
Okay, so what do you think of when you think of broccoli? Do you like broccoli? Do you eat it?
Yes.
Okay, and if you were given the choice between broccoli or chocolate, what would you choose?
Both.
Both chocolate-covered broccoli.
Actually, I will pick broccoli first
You are
because
good.
no, because it's because chocolate. No, you can't. It depends on what kind of chocolate it is. Maybe I think
Ooh.
too much.
Oh, well, I have to say, personally, if somebody said, here's a plate of broccoli, here's a bar of chocolate, I know which I'd grab. It wouldn't be the broccoli, honestly. Even though I know it's good for me, and I know chocolate's not that good for me, although it does have some positive effects on the brain as well. But I know broccoli's, but even so, I'd go for the chocolate every time. But you don't eat chocolate, yeah? Oh, you're both too
Yeah.
healthy for this session. But
Uh, uh-huh. When I was a child, there was practically no chocolate, and when I was grown up, I started drinking it in the evenings, and then you can imagine after some time, I noticed that I gained weight, and I was scared to death. Not that
every
I
evening, yeah. I mean,
don't like it.
I drink chocolate in the winter, hot chocolate as we call
Yeah.
it, but I don't drink it every evening. That would be fatal for my waistline too. Eleanor, could you try to explain to Shiny what she meant by this broccoli chocolate metaphor then? The presumption is, Shiny, that people would prefer the chocolate, okay? Eleanor, try to explain.
hmm If I've got it correctly, there is a healthy side in these games. This means, for example, developing your vision, things like that, and addictive side. That is not so good for your brain health and so on, like something like multitasking on social media. You do many things at once, but you don't develop your reflexes, brain skills, so on. This was mentioned earlier on. Mm. And this is a problem, how to attract people and in the and to make them develop useful skills like attention span and so on.
Is that clearer, Shiny? No? No, don't worry, don't worry. She's just using chocolate and broccoli as a metaphor, okay, we would like to have games that are good for you, but people tend to prefer games that aren't going to help develop them. That they're actually just addictive. And the software industry, of course, wants that addictiveness in games so that people play the games and they get revenue. They get people to buy the game or buy into the game. Okay? And that gives them money. And that's always going to be conflict. It's like, do you go to a vegetarian restaurant and have some tofu, or do you pop over to McDonald's and stuff a burger in your face? Most people, unfortunately, go to McDonald's because it's instantaneous gratification, it's addictive, the cheese, the queso endorphins, everything about it makes you want more. Even though they know
And
the tofu's better for them, they'll still stuff the McDonald's.
obesity, it's a big problem in America.
Yeah, well, it's not just America, I can assure you. The UK too. I feel positively svelte when I go back to the UK now. It's terrible. It's really like, oh my goodness, when did people
I see.
become balloons? It's weird. Yeah, it is an issue. Sugar, fatty sugar, and palm oil, I think all play a role. And eating processed food as well, of course. But anyway, that's what she's trying to do. You're very sleepy. Okay, let's carry on then. see if it becomes clearer in the next part. Okay, we're coming to the end now, so let's see if she can actually clear it up for you.
The issue is we need to put the two together. And it's a little bit like with food. Who really wants to eat chocolate-covered broccoli? None of you. And you probably have had that feeling, right? Picking up an education game and sort of feeling, it's not really fun, it's not really engaging. So what we need is really a new brand of chocolate. A brand of chocolate that is irresistible, that you really want to play, but that has all the ingredients, the good ingredients that are extracted from the broccoli that you can't recognize, but are still working on your brains. And we're working on it, but it takes to come and to get together brain scientists, people that work in the entertainment software industry, and publishers. So these are not people that you usually meet every day, but it's actually doable, and we are on the right track. I'd like to leave you with that thought, and thank you for your attention.
Okay, so does that make it a little clearer, Shiny? No? Okay, you might want I'll send you the link to the video so you can watch it in your own time when you're a bit more wide awake. But I can understand what she's trying to say, and I believe she's right. I mean, there is this term infotainment. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
Yes, from you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
And we
Elinor, what's it a mix of? What two words does it take its ingredients from?
Information and entertainment, and the idea is that news are nowadays a kind of entertainment, and this is a factor that changes has bad influence on objectivity. I remember we watched a video. It was about flooding. In any case, about some catastrophic event, and we analyze it in this respect. And it turned out that information was interpreted in the way to attract attention, arouse curiosity, something of that. So it's a kind of industry, and of course its value is rather dubious, because tragic events serve entertaining people. It's somewhat shady.
There is a moral ambiguity there, isn't there? I mean, I'm not so bothered if it's a historic event. We've got a lot of infotainment on on TV at the moment, where they're actually doing historical dramas, especially Victoria's very much so, very much like that. And I can actually remember at school we loved it when the teacher got the TV out, because we knew we were going to watch a film or something that would be about the topic we were learning, but would be more entertaining than our teacher droning on.
Yeah, of course, it's not entirely bad, but
but it has to be done correctly. It has to be done accurately. As you say, you shouldn't use some events for entertainment purposes, for purely entertainment purposes. But I think you can still inform people about I don't know, any topic, any subject in a more entertaining way. Maybe not so much the hard sciences, but I think you can gamify the hard sciences and make them more appealing to young people than the periodic table and just memorizing it by heart. I'm much more likely to remember things I've enjoyed than things I'm trying to remember because I know I need them for a test, for example.
Yeah, that's clear. Me too, of course.
Yeah, I mean, you can imagine. Can you think of any game? Can you think of any sort of idea for a game for something you want to learn that would be fun to, fun to do? Can you think of a way you could make your physics revision fun, Eleanor?
I have watched such a video recently. It was about Little Prince and Planets, very funny way, and one mass in between two masses, and universal gravitation. Well made. It was not a game though, but a
Could
funny
you turn
way.
that into the game, do you think? You found the video fun. Could you see a way you could turn that video into a game?
Into game. I think so. If you were expected to do some calculations about interplanetary relationships, spaceships, so
Yeah,
I
you
think
could
it
you could have
wouldn't
a
be
little
that.
spaceship, couldn't you? You could be in a little
Yeah, yeah,
spaceship, and instead of using the keyboard to move the spaceship, you'd be given all the information about, and you'd have to calculate and put the calculations into the spaceship before you
yeah.
got there.
Or for example, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly, a
yeah,
good idea.
yeah. Why not? Why not? Oh, that just came off the top of my head. Yeah, I could see that. Shiny, what about you? Can you think of anything that you'd like to have seen, or maybe from school that you would have liked to have had more fun learning? What was your favourite? What was your least favourite subject at school, Shiny?
Actually, I like every subject, every subject, but
Okay, what was your most favourite subject then?
favorite- no, not no. I guess I don't have any favorite, but I just remember that. Anyway, I can't.
Okay, you are sleepy, aren't you? What time is it where you are, Shiny? Have I got to send you to bed?
No, uh, it's just past 9, but it's not a because this week we have to. I mean, Natasha's session is at 4:30 in the morning, so
Wow.
the
Whoa. You can't. You've got a bit of FOMO there, fear of missing out. I would suggest you don't stay up till 4:30 in the morning. I'll have a word with Natasha and see if she can stream it so you can watch it. I'm not sure if her connection is good enough for that, but yeah, please don't damage your health just to catch a session. I wish we could. I wish we could just create the sessions 24/7 and each session repeating with different teachers, but can't do that, I'm afraid, at the moment.
no, but it's just this week,
Okay,
and because I want to attend Natasha's session, so I sacrifice.
your sleep.
Uh,
Now, what we were talking about
no, no,
today in the session
um,
about sleep.
no,
Don't.
I mean Marian's sessions. I I didn't attend her sessions for a while because her sessions are in midnight in my time.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
So at least I have to try to attend Natasha's session.
Okay, well, there's no have to, but I will have a word with Natasha and say, can we can we somehow set up your computer to stream, and then people can catch it if they're not awake at that time? Okay, because you sound very sleepy. I have to say, don't sacrifice your brain. You need your sleep.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I will listen to your recording again because I try to focus on your speaking, so I can't organize my mind. Sorry for that.
Okay. Oh, then I'll have to speak less. Make room for you to speak more. But I think what she's come up with in this video. Oh, and I've got the link for you, Shiny. Okay, so I think it's here. I think it's this one. Fingers crossed. Okay, it's called Your Brain on Video Games with Daphne Bavelier. If you are interested in watching it, I mean, of course, you can watch the videos are up already from the last 2 weeks, so you can, of course, watch those sessions. But we will stop this week, I think, on that particular topic. But is there anything you'd like to say or mention about the ideas that she's presenting? You just said, Eleanor, you said, I see games for the future. What?
Yes, it was her idea. Sorry, I don't live anymore. I have just died. It was about climbing.
But can you imagine, I don't know, in the future that schools, they're already talking about replacing teachers with robots, so why not replace lessons with games?
I don't think it's possible in every case, but they are already present. I have played many language games. For example, OWL and things like that. They are a lot of fun.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I suggest that to finish off, we just do a little. Oh, Shiny, take the mic. Wait.
Thank you. Because you mentioned that what if we replace games for those lessons? But comic books are very popular in Japan. They call it manga.
Manga, yeah, it is. It's
Yeah.
huge.
So
Multi-billion-dollar industry.
yeah, so they make us suggestions that why don't we, just provide children manga instead of a textbook. So they draw a lot of pictures in textbooks, and they see. I mean, they wanted to see if children will get improvement, but anyway, as a result, I think they failed because the it's not that type. I mean, they have the how to say the test. It's not that easy. You put some manga in textbook, and I think children will like it. I mean, children are, I can't say picky, not picky. Anyway, I mean, they have the how to say. I don't know.
I think I
Anyway,
know what you mean. That children have a good filter for when they're being presented with bullshit, basically. If
yes,
all they
yes,
did was take the normal textbook and shove some pictures on it, that's not manga. Manga's about the story. It's not even so much about the images. So if they couldn't incorporate some quantum physics into a good storyline, I think, again, she does say that it's not just about the educators doing this. They've got to bring the entertainment industry in, the people who can write good stories that make people want to watch them, make people interested in what happens next. Yeah, that's a really good point actually. I didn't know about this manga textbook thing. I'd love to see the attempt, whether it was just they failed with the storyline or if there was some other thing they failed with. But I can remember my French lessons at school, they tried it with little comic strips, but they were so boring. It wasn't like, a proper, funny, entertaining comic strip. It was just the same text with a few pictures thrown in, but it was still, my grandfather's pen is on the table in the garden. It's like, blah. Really?
Yes, they fail at making textbook. What I'm saying with manga, they failed, and
Yeah.
you can find lots of pictures in their textbooks. They still didn't change it, and and
Interesting.
it reduce their reading ability because lots of pictures.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I can get it. I can get it why it would fail if they didn't bring the right people in. They probably had an artist, but they need the storytellers, they need the writers in order to create engaging information. Otherwise, yeah, I could imagine. I mean, kids know when they're being conned.
I'm sorry, I'm falling again and again. It's I have scored one now and then, but usually not that easy. But no abusive message about my skills, so I can appreciate it. No message, yeah. So this game is positive. But I don't know why. It's just a
Do you want
blog
to screen
and you are
share?
supposed...
Hang on. Can you actually screen share it? We'd love to see your progress.
Touch and hold and release 0. Yeah, I can...
You can't play and talk at the same time, can you, Eleanor?
No, I tried to save screen share, but it's something...
Oh, okay. No, I was thinking, okay, let's go to let's see if this will work.
Yeah, I have it.
Ah, good.
Screen share in here. Yeah, I got it. Sorry.
It's okay.
I understood not screen sharing, screen shot.
Screenshot, no, screen share.
Yeah.
Screen share.
Yeah. Yeah, just a moment. I have never done it here.
Okay, if you click on the little green arrow, the green and white screen share arrow, yeah. And then you need to click on either share your screen or share application. Probably an application window would be better.
Yes.
And then you choose the one that has the...
Yes,
okay,
I have it. You can see it. Touch and hold and release 0.
Okay. Okay, go on, give it a go. Now that's what we call a platform game.
Yeah.
So you've got to jump, I presume, between the platforms, but you can't jump onto that top platform because it's above your head. Oh no, you've done it. Well done. Oh, where's you gone?
0. But I appreciate it. No message. You are an idiot or something like that.
Good, yeah. No, that's good.
Oh, but I'm not sure why sometimes
Oh, you're about to
I
lose.
should.
You just, oh, no, you're sunk. I think I know what it is. You've got to do it before that platform hits those spikes. Okay.
I see.
If the platform hits the spikes, you're dead, basically. So watch it. You see it sort of depresses. So try again, but a bit quicker. Get your hand coordination going. Quick. Whoa!
Oh,
Nope. I haven't played it, so I'm not quite sure what the
uh,
concept of the game is. But let me do a screen share then.
no, am I? But
Let's see if I can get this to start playing.
at least you have some fun, so that's good. So should I stop screen sharing?
Okay, yeah, I'm going to screen share Tetris. It's got
Okay.
some annoying music though, so I'll see if I can switch the music off. Options. Let's have a look. Move right, move left. Show goes piece. Music. No, none. Music volume. Okay, let me. Okay, so done. Right, I will try to screen share. And if you click on my. Oh, where's it gone? Nope, wrong one. Application window. Tetris. This is a free online one. I've never played this one before, so you'll have to forgive me if I'm rubbish. So I'll click resume, and you'll see the concept. Stupid. Ah! That was longer than it was.
No place should be left in between. Am
You
I
have
right?
to make sure you clear each. You'll see what happens when I lose eventually, because I'm not playing very well. Okay, so the idea is to clear the lines, okay, as quickly as possible. Oh no, I don't want to do that. That'll do. Yep. That's a good one. Good. Whew. Okay, so. Oh, that's a good one. Good. Oh, that's not good. Ah, no! Oh, poop. I've messed it up completely now. That's never going to clear.
No, no.
Ah!
That's why I didn't.
Oh,
You are a loser.
I need a couple more like
Yeah,
that.
where's that I'm satisfied.
Okay,
Now I
so
can laugh in my turn.
okay, the idea you saw, you have to turn the characters
yeah, I
round so
had
that they
got it.
fill. That's actually quite an easy one. The one I usually play, you have to turn the shapes yourself. That seems to try, and that's what was fooling me. It was turning the shapes as it was dropping, but you have to really think about, okay, which shape do I need? Which way round should it be? And you click on the shape to turn it. But that one seems to do it for you, and yeah, that wasn't the way I wanted it to go. But never mind, you get the idea. That is Tetris, Shiny.
It's fun. Yeah.
It's fun, and it's been going. I can't remember when it was actually invented, but it was a very, very long time ago. The first game, it wasn't obviously online. It was a video game, and it was a Russian game designer, and it started in 1984. Ah, you do know it. I was surprised when you said you maybe not heard of Tetris, the name, but it started. He actually invented it in 1984, and it was on game consoles and even in gaming arcades. But it's I warn you, it's very addictive. And nobody owns the rights, okay, because he actually licensed it, and people are allowed to just play it. Okay, so it is basically licensed. Initially, but sadly I think since he did it somebody has copyrighted it, but anyway, he didn't. Okay, but it's a good game and I do recommend it. Okay, but maybe we can read about it or talk about it in another session. Anyway, I think we've run out of time, all that game playing. I'm going to go and start playing shoot 'em ups and see if in 2 weeks time I've got a better spatial recognition in my head. I'll let you know how I get on. Actually, it's not the gaming that defeats me. It's I panic. If I'm fighting, I just get into a complete panic. I'm like, oh no, he's gonna hit me, and then I'm dead. Okay, take care then. Thanks for coming. Thank you, Shiny. Go to bed now. Get some sleep. And I
Good
will
night,
speak to you.
Shiny.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll speak to you again. Bye.
bye.